Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Sidemenreact video. This one is the most expensive mistakes in history. Which, as history has told us, there's been a lot of mistakes. But we keep repeating them somehow. Why? And I don't know why, but we do. It just happens. So with that being said, we're gonna get into this video right now.
How's it going, boys and girls? Welcome to
Yes.
Sidemenreact, the channel which never sleeps.
Ooh.
It is me, Vic Star, and KSI. And
Let's go on me high!
Mistakes in history.
Ooh.
Ooh.
JJ, what's your most expensive mistake? You've had a few in your time.
Most expensive.
Beerus? No, I'm just kidding, I'm
Leverage
kidding.
trading? Could it be a
Oh,
Lamborghini?
okay.
Could it be? What could it be?
No, you know the Lamborghini was a good purchase.
Yeah,
It's
you
an
actually,
investment
yes.
for the
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Video probably like paid for the car. How mad is
Yeah,
that?
yeah. But I've definitely lost a lot in leverage trading and yeah.
Crypto.
Millions. Millions.
There we go.
Oh god.
Okay.
JJ.
What about you, Harry? You got any?
Expensive mistakes, I would say. Again, probably the Lamborghini back in the day. I spent more on the fucking insurance than I did the car itself. So, and I only drove it like about 10 times. It was a bit of a waste of time.
Hello, mother.
Mom just bought me a plate of food. So I got some gammon, some
Hello, mother.
unseasoned potatoes, and an egg.
He brought out
Never
his
know what you're gonna get
hamster!
on Sidemenreact.
Is that Morpheus?
Yeah, I've just brought Morpheus out real quick.
Oh, the hamster.
Hi,
What is this, like
Morpheus!
a mukbang show and tell? Meet the family, Sidemenreact. It's probably not
I
my
love
most
him.
expensive mistake, but I once remember I ended up at a club with a load of people that I barely even knew. I ended up buying a table and bottles, and I'm like, why did I? And then I got home and I was like, why did I do that? I don't even really know these people. It'd be that way. But anyway, let's
It do be like that.
feel better because we're gonna see what's worse.
Imagine how it would feel to hit the jackpot at one point in your life, but to not even realize it until years later.
JJ.
Be involved in the early stages of a startup
JJ,
that
what
would
are
go on
you
to become a
doing?
multi-billion-dollar
JJ.
enterprise,
That would
but then
hurt.
walk away
That
for
poor
penniless
hamster.
before it had even
Stop
gained
it.
momentum. It would
Stop
probably
that.
be similar to that feeling you get when you put off buying a plane ticket, then check the airline website a few weeks later to find the price has doubled.
That's
Yep.
the worst, you know.
Oh, it is.
It's the worst. I've had that too many times.
I always do flights first. Everything else.
Oh,
after.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Flights
Yeah,
first.
facts.
If you want to feel better about yourself for all
Morpheus
the
is so
times you
cute.
wasted or lost money, then keep watching. Your slip-ups won't even come close to these ridiculously expensive historic mistakes. I bet
I
you
love
$10,000. Let's start off modestly. And
love
by
it.
modest, I mean a mistake that cost less
Sorry.
than $100 million. That's how expensive we're talking for the rest of this video. In 2014,
Oh my
the
God,
French
he's on
train
his
company
shoulder.
ordered 2,000 new trains
Oh,
for its
they made 'em
cross-country
too big.
railways. The manufacturer proceeded to design, make,
Oh,
and
God.
ship out these
Morpheus!
trains, only for the
Come
French officials to have a
Come
horrible
back! You're going to the
realization.
depths!
The trains they'd ordered were too wide to actually fit on the rails. How could this have happened? Turns out those officials failed to measure all the stations. Some of the rails fit the train perfectly, but others were 50 years older and much thinner. Amazingly, everyone had forgotten that there were railways of different sizes.
JJ's like,
The
where's
good news is that
Morpheus?
They didn't need to throw away
How?
the trains.
That
But
much
the
money,
bad news
how
is
do you,
that
like,
the
not
only way to
realise
solve
that?
the problem was to widen all the older, thinner rails to make them the right size for the trains. There were over 1,000 stations to choose, making the total cost $68.4 million. That's on top of the $28.5 billion it cost to make the trains in the first place.
I mean, that's
I
a
mean,
drop in the ocean compared to the
Yeah.
trains.
Yeah.
And to be fair, like eventually they'd have to be
Yeah.
made bigger anyways.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world. Like it
Yeah,
could be worse.
sorry, I'm so distracted with the Morpheus and JJ. I'm so distracted.
Who had single-handedly lost more than $100 million. Investing in Bitcoin at its low and selling during the peak
I've
is
been
an
there.
investor's
I've
No,
been
JJ.
there.
He's like,
Crazy
I've
enough to
been
buy
there.
Bitcoin in its early days were a few technology
I
aficionados.
just realized I have my
with a
AirPods in my
passion for
pocket. Why?
cybersecurity. One of them was the British IT worker James Howells. Can you see where I'm going with this? Howells mined a whopping 7,500 Bitcoins back in 2013. Do you know how much a single Bitcoin is worth now? Yeah. Unfortunately, James got careless and one day he
60,000
decided he
now.
wanted a new computer, so he broke his old laptop into parts so he could sell them individually. Although he had the foresight to keep the hard drives in case the Bitcoins did gain value one day. Let's face it, keeping a hard drive worth millions lying around in your house is a disaster waiting to happen. One day, the man was cleaning his house when he accidentally placed the hard drive in the trash can. The trash ended up in the landfill site, and James didn't even notice until years later.
Oh,
Eventually hit its peak,
devastating.
leaving James's collection to be worth a whopping $127 million.
jeez.
Except there was absolutely no way of accessing it.
Wait, no, that's not true. 127 million. It's more now. What's
Yeah, I mean,
60,000
this
times?
video came out a long time ago.
Yeah,
so it's probably
yeah.
double.
Wait, no, let's calculate. Let's calculate.
Yeah,
of course.
7,500 times.
60,000.
Oh my god, wait, hang on. You'd have 45. You'd have 450 mil.
Oh my
Oh,
Jesus. That's just filthy.
fucking God.
That's just filthy.
Oh my
Filthy. I don't like it. No.
Every like year that goes past, whenever he sees the news about Bitcoin, you can never escape it. Like you can never escape it. You know the pain.
I don't think I could think of much worse. That's
Oh.
like for long, just torture.
Yeah.
Any job he does from now on is I shouldn't have to be doing this job. I could be doing whatever I want instead of
Yeah.
fucking do this.
I mean, you're not wrong.
That's sad.
The officials deemed searching through a landfill a safety risk due to the potential of toxic gases and fires.
Yeah, he was no way he's gonna find it as well.
James was
Yeah.
forced to soldier on, knowing he'd made one of the most expensive mistakes ever.
God.
Poor guy.
Is there an update on him or not?
Ah, he's probably just depressed.
Maybe he's not. Maybe he's a really happy guy. Maybe he's more happy now than if he had 450 mil. You never know.
I mean, you're not wrong, yeah, but
Oh.
if Squid Game's taught us anything, I'm so sorry.
Some more careless Brits bought a few lottery tickets, one of which went on to be the winner. Imagine the joy, the excitement, your
Oh,
mind
no.
racing as you thought about
What'd
how
you-
you'd
what
spend the
happened?
money. But unfortunately, this pair made a fatal error. They'd also had a few losing tickets, so to avoid confusion, the husband tried to throw away the losing tickets, but you guessed it, he ended up throwing away the winning ticket instead. If ever there was a test of true love, it's gotta be that. In some ways, you could say that their lottery ticket was as good as Lost in Space, and it's not the only thing lost in space that's worth millions. In 1998,
I'm liking the segues he's doing. It's quite cool.
Yeah, it is. It is.
NASA launched a Mars Climate Orbiter. In other words, a space probe that was sent to orbit Mars and study its atmosphere and surface. As
Okay.
the orbiter left the Earth, little did the engineers know that they'd made a fatal mistake when calibrating the units of measurement on the machine. The team had used English units of measurement instead of the metric system
Oh,
commonly
no.
used for that type of operation. It might not sound like a big deal, but we're
Oh, it's a
talking
big
about
deal.
rocket science here. Kind of. As a result, the spacecraft team managing the orbiter were using different units to the flight team, and everything was mixed up. Navigation commands were released in one set of units and read in another, and
Do people die on this thing?
No.
No?
I don't know why she's on the floor.
She
nobody
just.
realized until everyone was together to celebrate the entry of the ship into Mars's orbit. Instead, they watched everything go wrong. Due to the problems with unit conversions, the engine of the orbiter fired when it was 100 kilometers closer to Mars than planned and 25 kilometers below the level it was designed to function at. The engine failed to fire once it got to Mars and just continued into the atmosphere, leaving a nice crater behind. The total damage was $193 million. Far worse. We've all pressed send on a text in a split second, only to realize that we had a stupid
JJ's
typo in the
autocorrect.
message. Most of the time, these messages are simply minor inconveniences or embarrassments, but occasionally, typos can be
Oh,
very
you won't
expensive.
understand it if you don't
This
have
is
Side
one of
Plus. I'm
those
so
occasions.
sorry.
You don't want to make a
I'm
slip up like
sorry.
this when you're trading stocks and shares. In 2005, a Japanese broker listed a new company called JCOM at just 610,000 shares for 1 yen each, instead
no.
of issuing one share for 610,000
Oh
yen.
no.
How does one guy hold the power to like? Well, I guess it's got to be one person in the end that presses the button, right? But how can it be that there's one point of failure for like such a big thing? I don't
Because
understand.
that's how the system works.
It's-
And, like,
yeah,
once that's in, like, and people have bought it, then what are you going to say? Oh no, it's an accident. Because otherwise, you could sell someone shares at 10 cents a piece, and then when they've all bought them at 10 cents, you say, actually no, I meant to charge you. I
yeah.
meant to put in 15 cents. So can you pay me the extra? It's
Yeah, it's-
scamming
yeah.
it, unless
Yeah, but the job of listening, it came down to one person just to like type the stuff, and no one double checked it or something.
yeah, I mean they probably should have. Yeah,
Well,
in this
evidently, yes,
case.
but yeah.
To put that into context, 1 Japanese yen was the equivalent of 0.8 cents in US dollars.
Jesus.
All in all, not a bad price for more than 500,000 shares. The number of shares in the order was
What
far
have I
more times
done?
more
Yeah.
than the number of shares that were actually available. So the broker was left with an order it literally couldn't execute. Yet, even though it was completely nonsensical, they couldn't cancel it. In total, $225 million was lost as a result of the transaction.
my
It
God.
was so phenomenal an error that the entire Nikkei 225 index, the Japanese equivalent of the S&P, dropped by almost 2% that day. One broker embarrassed the whole of Japan. I can only imagine how he felt going to work the next day.
I think that's one of the worst ones.
I'm gone.
Company, right?
Bye, guys.
And the whole
I'm
country.
not here anymore.
Like, everyone that has shares in Japan has lost money because of you.
I don't think he's going back to work.
Exactly, that's my point.
Imagine being a visionary designer, convinced you've dreamed up the perfect car that the masses will flock to buy, only to find that in fact nobody gave a damn. Let's go back to 1958. Ford launched a new line of cars named the Edsel, a large family car. Supposedly, they'd proven consumer demand through a series of customer surveys. But at the time, Ford had a bad reputation for basing their data collection on false assumptions, giving them results that would stroke their egos rather than grow their business. Nobody cared much about the release of the Ford Edsel. As if making a car nobody wanted wasn't bad enough, they ended up launching it in an environment where nobody could have afforded it, even if they did want it. Just as the model was released to the public, the stock market declined, spooking consumers and putting them off of making any big purchasing decisions. It's estimated that the car manufacturer lost around $250 million due to their poor research and timing.
Back then.
Yeah.
Good point.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like,
But now it's time to take things up a notch. Before Alaska was a U.S. state, it was owned by Russia. But in 1867, the nation decided that the territory was more of a resource drain than a gold mine, and it decided to sell instead. So Russia struck a deal with the U.S. and agreed to sell them Alaska.
So you can just like sell a country.
Back in that day.
Alaska,
Yeah.
Is Alaska a country? No, Alaska's not a country. It's a state, right?
Yeah, it's a state.
Essentially, it was.
Essentially was, but then now became a state. Not now. You know what I mean?
You know what? I think Russia's still doing fine, to be honest.
Yeah, right. Russia's,
they got enough oil.
Russia, they're doing just fine.
For $7.2 million. Little did they know how profitable Alaska would turn out to be. Russia thought they'd already exhausted the gold reserves of the region, but there turned out to be vast amounts of rich gold and oil resources still there. So much so that the U.S. made a profit of $700 million from buying its 400 states. The same amount. Come on, Russia. I don't condone colonization, but if you're gonna do it, then at least be smart about it.
I didn't know it was that much. Oh my lord.
But until now, we've been talking baby money. Now it's time to
What do you mean?
That's gonna be worse.
That's baby. What do you mean?
Also known as the stealth bomber.
Pick up the stealth bomber.
That's so
I don't know what that is.
Is the most expensive plane in the U.S. Air Force, worth a ridiculous $1.4 billion.
Oh, huh?
So expensive that the government could only afford to make 21 of them.
Wait.
Could only afford 21
per thing.
Yes, per plane.
Oh my god.
And America said we need 21 of those.
You'd think we'd handle something that valuable incredibly carefully, right? But you'd be wrong. One day, a pilot was on a test flight in Guam when the plane began to stall during takeoff, crashing straight away. Yep, that's right, the plane was completely destroyed, all because there was moisture in the engines, and a technique to remove it properly got lost in translation, resulting in water entering a sensor and making it faulty. You'd think they might have given the job of maintaining a plane worth $1 billion to a world-class expert, not the intern.
If you're an American taxpayer, you're...
Yep. You're not wrong. We're always pissed about that stuff, so...
people's taxes just crashed.
Probably mine.
That's crazy. That's crazy, bro.
But billions have also been lost at the hands of man's oldest enemy, lust. After Tiger Woods' infamous cheating scandal, the golfer is estimated to have lost $12 billion.
Oh my fuck.
Are you serious?
Wait, how?
That's what I'm saying.
He lost every sponsorship he had, and he's like, yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember it was a big thing, isn't it? Like,
just for cheating.
Of course, JJ's just like, what?
He's done something like outrageous, like it was a massive scandal. It's like, it's not like he's killed any. Like, it's bad, but like it's not awful. I remember it's happening.
But he did lose, like, and that was when he was at like his peak as well, and he lost all his like sponsorships and everything.
Damn.
I hope the beats was worth it, my man.
Oh my god, I can't even.
But the estimate includes value lost by shareholders of his former sponsors as a result of the affairs, as well as the sports star's substantial personal loss. Would it have really been that hard to keep it in your pants, Tiger? Do you think we can triple the size of that mistake? You bet we can.
What?
Everyone has heard of Steve Jobs, and if you're a real Apple enthusiast, you might have heard of Steve Wozniak. But what about Ron Wayne? He's the third founder of Apple, but he decided to sell his equity back in 1976.
Oh,
Why did he make such a crazy
no.
decision? Wayne joined Jobs and Wozniak as an old hand with more experience and expertise, and it was precisely because he was at a different stage of his life that Wayne wasn't prepared to take the financial risks involved in pursuing a project like Apple, whereas Jobs and Wozniak were younger men, aged 21 and 23, with nothing to lose. Wayne had assets and became terrified of losing everything he had, so he decided to sell his shares back to the co-founders. Wayne once held 10% of the shares for Apple, and guess how much he sold them for? $800.
What?
If he decided to wait until
No.
2013, his share would have been worth $35 billion. There's no two ways about it. That's a massive loss. But now, think even bigger. You might have heard of the dot-com bubble, a huge speculative bubble that built up at the start of the millennium.
Yeah.
Investors had begun to suspect that the internet and technology would be big, but they weren't quite sure what form that would take or which companies would make it. Basically, lots of people got overexcited and started making some pretty big gambles. Two companies pitted as future successes were Time Warner and AOL. The two media companies
no.
merged together in
Oh,
2000
no.
at the height of the bubble. It was believed to be a genius move that would revolutionize the industry.
Oh,
Hey,
God.
stop laughing. Time Warner's cable network and
I'm so
content
sorry.
would merge with the online presence of
Oh,
AOL,
no.
making them unbeatable together. At least that was the theory.
Oh,
It
no.
couldn't
Right,
have
that's
been
a good
further
idea.
from the truth.
Yeah.
Firstly, the workplace cultures of the two firms didn't exactly merge together smoothly. Then things went from bad to worse, and the bubble finally burst, plunging the economy into a recession and harming the merger. AOL was hit hard and forced to take a write-off almost of $100 billion by 2002,
Jesus.
taking its stock value from a whopping $226 billion
Fucking
to
Oh,
a
my
$18
Lord.
billion. Ouch. By 2009, Time Warner left AOL with a valuation of $36 billion, leaving AOL with a value of just $2.5 billion. All in all, the whole thing resulted in a total loss of $146 billion.
Oh my.
Well, if that doesn't make you feel better about every stupid way you've wasted money, then I don't know what will.
Hey, yo.
I mean, I
Yeah,
guess,
yeah.
but
I'm
have I wasted money?
I'm good.
Not that I'm aware of.
That's small.
Yeah.
Oh, Christ.
Not that I'm aware of.
There we go. You ever think, yeah, you're down bad.
yeah, they are down bad. They're very down bad.
React. And yeah, I hope none of this ever happens to any of you.
Yeah, for real. Alright, but that is insane. Wow, I did not think that. You know, when I was thinking most expensive mistakes, I was thinking like something to do with the military in any country. This seems to be worse somehow. Doesn't it? Or am I just crazy? Just. Oh god, this is, oh god. Just, oh. Ooh, that big oof. Because oh man. Oh, I don't even know what to say to this other than hopefully you guys enjoyed because I got nothing. And make sure to check out Boys links down in the description as always, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Alright, bye.